PJ Masks high. Like, if you experience it, I think it's that time again. It's Bookish monthly reset time. The time of the month when we get our bookish hobby in order. On the schedule for today, of course, we have the classics. We're going to be updating the book journal and we're going to be doing a little bit of book shopping. Nothing too crazy, but there's a couple of books I really want to get. And then in this video, we are also going to be picking a new book to start because I just finished one this morning, so I need to start something new. And I'm going to amalgamate my June wrap up into this video as well. So I'm going to also take you through all of the books that I read in the month of June, what I thought of them, if I'd recommend them, and which ones I'd skip. There's a couple that I'd skip. I'd delete them off your TBR. So that's the schedule for today. I'm gonna go out do some book shopping, and whilst I'm out, I would love to read outside a little bit. It's one of my bookish goals for the year is to read outside some more. I've definitely been ticking that off, and I'm in the flow of it. It might honestly be too hot to just sit in the sun, but at either a nice cafe along the river, maybe we'll go to the park and find a nice shady tree. I don't know. But we need to choose a book from the shelf first before we go out, so that I've got my book to read whilst we're out, and then we'll do some of the cozier stuff later this afternoon. Okay, first things first, let's go to the shelf and pick a book. Okay, as you guys know, these three are the TBR shelves. I have just not been in the mood for fantasy lately. I've got so many good books on this shelf. Like, I'm literally screaming to read some of these, but there's just something about the sunny weather. Like, I don't know, I can't do it. But this is the current list. Which of these do you think are like my top priority to read and that I should just read even though it's summer? Let me know what you think. This is then the romance shelf. Again, some bangers on here that I really want to get to, and it feels like tis the season. Tis the season for this type of book. And on the final shelf, we have like literary fiction or just other. Again, some good ones on here. I've been weirdly tempted to read Beartown lately, even though that's literally about like snow and winter and cold and ice hockey. So I don't know. Maybe I will just stick to the middle shelf because of all this sunshine. Oh my gosh. Okay. Ones that are calling my name. Love and Other Words, but I did just finish a Christina Lauren book a week ago, whenever that was, so I don't know if it's a bit soon to just read another one and I should give something else a try. The last Kennedy Ryan book I read kind of haunted and destroyed me, so I'm a bit nervous to start this, even though I know I'll love it. I think Nothing Like the Movies is maybe a little bit too cutesy. I'm terrified of this, by the way. I'm just going to keep skipping over this like probably forever because I don't know if I'm ready to be destroyed like that. I finished a Stephanie Archer book recently, so I feel like the Hannah Grace and Stephanie Archer vibes are kind of similar. Oh my gosh. Okay, I think I'm gonna go for Summer Romance by Annabelle Monaghan. Okay, book selected. I've wanted to read Annabelle Monaghan for ages, and specifically I've wanted to read this book for ages. I wanted to read it last year, never really got to it. And as far as I understand it, it's about a woman who's going through grief because her mother passed away, and then ends up having some like meet cute with a guy on the beach because like her dog runs up to him or something. So if I'm remembering a different book. Oh yes, or rather her dog claims a man for her in the same way he claimed his favourite of her 3 children by peeing on him. Of course, the last thing Ali needs right now is to make her life messier, but there's no harm in a little summer romance, is there? Annabelle Monaghan knows how to write romance, how to sweep you up and make you feel as though you, the reader, are falling in love. Cute! I think this is one of those ones that hits a little bit harder than others. Okay, cool, we have our little book to take out with us for the afternoon. I guess without further ado, let's go book shopping. It's so hot. Oh my God. I am sweating all over my entire body. This is like, oh my gosh. This is Sula Central. Get this aircon on right now. My poor little old Mini is like not equipped to try and cool this car down quick enough. Okay, anyway, sweet treat secured. Well, treat drink secured, iced chai. Although all of the ice, I think we're onto like our final cube, has melted in the 2 minutes it took to get back to the car. I did a slightly naughtier haul than I intended to, I have to be honest. I was like, I'm gonna buy one book and like that is all I'm allowed. Yeah, we did worse than that, or better than that, or whatever. Whichever way you choose to look at it, we did better or worse than one. There are more books than one. I need to get out of here. You probably also can't hear me now that the air conditioning is pumping. Let's go see if we can find a nice spot to read that isn't sweltering. This house is haunted, but I miss you. I don't wanna go, been there before, leads me back Okay, we're back. I've had some lunch, spilt pesto all over myself, had to change. I've also got the mini mic because I need a fan like pointing at me. It is so hot. Day whatever we are on of this heat wave. I am starting to melt for real, but also I love it. Like I am loving the sunshine. I'm loving the warmth. I'm loving the heat. So I don't want to complain, but my oh my, it's hot. Before we get to the haul of books, can we talk for a minute about how unreal the park was? Why have I not been doing that every single day? That just felt like, I don't know, it felt like my birthday and Christmas, and it felt like almost too nice. And the deer and the ducks and the breeze and the willow that I was sat on, the whole thing, it was just beautiful in the park. And really, really, really enjoying Annabelle Monaghan's writing. It's my first book of hers. I've only read about maybe 30 pages, 40 pages, something like that. Really enjoying it so far. I think I'm really gonna like this book. So I've been having a great time. I don't know what to tell you. I've been having a great time. apart from the pesto incident, and that top's now probably ruined forever. I've like doused it and vanished. Anyway, let me show you the books that I bought. First up is the book that, to be honest, I was going there to get, which is Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I'm so excited to read this. I've heard such good things, which is so good. I feel like I've been like a bit bummed. Like, that's probably too extreme. I haven't been bummed. I feel like there's been a lot of talk lately about really popular authors or like highly anticipated releases for this year being a little bit of a letdown, but I've heard really good stuff. So I've got the beautiful hard copy. This doesn't match any of my other Taylor Jenkins Reid copies. The other ones I've got are all the ones like with the people on, but this is so beautiful. And yeah, I'm ridiculously pumped to read this. I think this is going to be like a read that we read soon. I don't know much about it, but as far as I know, it's about NASA, space. I've never been that interested in space, as in I have no interest to go there. It scares me a little bit, but if anyone can make me highly interested in a topic that I didn't think I'd be interested in before, it's TJR. So the next book that I got is Anxious People by Frederick Bachman. I'm thinking I'm going to read this before I read Beartown, because from everything I've heard, and you guys have even said to me as well, that this one is a little bit more lighthearted and there's some more funny moments in it. And it's not like so soul crushing as the Beartown. I think Beartown is a trilogy, if I'm not mistaken. I'm just really excited to read Frederick Bachman's writing, and I really want to start soon. Like, I really want to enter his world. And to be honest, ever since I read Hello Beautiful, I just feel like my brain chemistry has been rewired a little bit. And don't get me wrong, I'm still heavy on the contemporary romance vibe, but I don't know, I've been wanting to push my limits a little bit more, let's say. And I really want to start with him. So I picked this up. Okay, next up is a tiny little book, Heart Lamp by Banu Mushtaq. And I honestly don't know anything about this book other than the fact that it won the 2025 International Booker Prize. And there was a little poster up in the Waterstones that I was in kind of explaining about the book. And I don't know, it felt like something that was important for me to read. It's very little, very thin. I wonder how many pages it actually is. About 214 pages. The writing is teeny tiny on the inside, but I'm just going to read you the back of what it says that it's all about. In a dozen stories written across 3 decades, Banu Mushtaq, a major voice within progressive Kannada literature, portrays the lives of those often on the periphery of society, girls and women in Muslim communities in southern India. These stories speak truth to power and slice through the fault lines of caste, class, and religion widespread in contemporary society, exposing the rot within: corruption, oppression, injustice, violence. Yet, at its heart, Heart Lamp returns us to the true great pleasures of reading: solid storytelling, unforgettable characters, vivid dialogue, tension simmering under the surface, and a surprise at each turn. Deceptively simple, these stories hold immense emotional, moral, and socio-political weight, urging us to dig deeper. Banu Mushtaq reveals the varied realities of contemporary women with rare talent and art. Deepa Bashti's rich translation captures the original's nuance of voice, context, and experience, bringing this important work into English for new readers. Written in a style at once witty, vivid, colloquial, moving, and exhilarating, it's in her characters: the sparky children, the audacious grandmothers, buffoonish Malvis and thug brothers, the oft hapless husbands, and the mothers above all. Surviving their feelings at great cost, Mushtaq emerges as an astonishing writer and observer of human nature, building disconcerting emotional heights out of a rich spoken style. Anyway, that was probably far too long, but I don't know. Do you not just hearing that think, I need to read that? It's just an important thing for me to read. So I picked it up, and it's obviously very short, so it won't take long to get through, but I'm hoping, because it's 12 stories that are in here, I'm hoping to just take my time with each story and really try and soak it in, because it really feels as though a lot of love has been poured into this book. So yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about that one. And then finally, the last book. I can't believe I bought 4. I was only supposed to go and buy 1. I was supposed to go and get Atmosphere, and that was meant to be it. And here we are, 4 books later. The final book I got, which is so exciting, is Bury Your Bones in the Midnight Soil by V. Schwab. And have we not been seeing this everywhere? We have. Everyone has been seeing this everywhere. And I've really heard like such good things. And even more exciting, actually, I think my fingers are covering it. Guys, it's signed. This is my first ever signed book, and I'm not joking. I can't believe it was just casually just chilling there, signed. I don't know if it's like really normal for other places. I've seen people like Rachel Catherine and like Sophie Jane say that like in Australia that signed copies are not really that common, but in America they're super common. So maybe like the UK is like similar to Australia. You'd have thought that maybe there's more signed copies in the UK. I don't know. Either way, I don't have any signed copies. This is my first one, which is very exciting. I feel like I'm cheating having a signed copy
from an author who I haven't yet ever read before. But am I mistaken in thinking that this book is about like toxic lesbian vampires? Is that what it's about? If I have got that description like wildly wrong, but I do believe this is about vampire lesbians, and it sounds like it's like 3 stories in one. I don't know, but I'm like very pumped to read this. Anyway, so that's the haul. 4 books. To be honest, I kind of think like 4 like slam dunks of books. Like I really believe that all 4 of these books are like gonna all be really epic books that I'm gonna be completely obsessed with, and that are very like the type of books that stick with you. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. There's nothing fluffy about any of these books, but I did just finish a Stephanie Archer, so it feels like it's time to switch it up, you know. I'll continue to oscillate between the serious and the not so serious. Okay, that's it for the haul. We've done our reading outside. I'm gonna be thinking about this morning until I can do it again. Maybe on Sunday I'll just like delete any plans I have with anyone so I can go do that again. So next on the list is the book journal. I'm thinking I'm gonna do that tonight, maybe in front of the TV. We'll see where we get to. I do need to now go and do a little bit of work, and then we'll come back to all things bookish in a bit. So I will see you in a little bit.
Okay, yesterday I just ended up just fully melting into a puddle. Sorry if you can hear the birds outside. Today it's now pouring with rain. We've had like a break in the sunshine and the birds are all going completely crazy. They're so cute and very noisy. I think they're all blue tits that are going completely bananas this morning. Yeah, blue tits and grey tits. Anyway, it's time for the book journal. So as always, there's quite a lot for me to update, but I've got the journal, I've got all my pens, and I've got my big basket of all the other goods. Like I don't actually ever very often like put stickers in, and I feel like I've got so many stickers in here. I should probably jazz up some pages a little bit more. I need to get on to doing monthly spreads at some point so that I can add stickers and a little bit more of a decoration. But yeah, let's get the book journal updated and then I'll show you my updates and we can talk through all the books I read in June, which ones I loved, which ones I recommend, and which ones I think you should probably skip. Okay, let's do it. Book journal is all updated. I still need to go through and update my Goodreads properly. I always find it hard to know when to do that because in my head I kind of want to talk to you about what I think of the book first rather than it kind of being like a bit of a spoiler for you to see what I thought of it on Goodreads. Like I kind of want this video to go up and then you'd see the Goodreads, but then I don't know whether I should just be updating it at the same time I do the book journal. I don't know. Anyway, before we talk through all the books I read in June, I do have one tiny piece of bookish mail which actually arrived a few days ago. I know what it is and I'm very excited to be able to complete my collection of these books. I know what it is, or I think I know what it is. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's a thick book. A thick book. I had this on pre-order. I don't know how long I've had this on pre-order for. So many months. Oh my gosh, it's so stunning. It's so stunning. It is the House of Flame and Shadow paperback. I've been collecting the paperbacks of these. The other two, I've got the other two. I mean, these books are just so large, aren't they? Look at the size of that. I've got the wolf on the front of Earth and Blood, and then the, I don't know what it is, like the snake bird thing on the front of Sky and Breath, and then the stag on the front of Flame and Shadow. I think these are so beautiful. This is an exclusive edition. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. What about it makes it exclusive? Anyway, how stunning are all of these together? I just think they're so pretty, and that now officially means I need to reorganize my bookshelf, because for those of you that have been around for a while, you know how much I love the Divine Rivals Ruthless Vows color combo that perfectly matched the colors of these, but like the inverse, just so pretty together. But now we've got a third. That setup that I've had now for a year on the shelves has got to change. And for anyone that is curious, yes, I do recommend this series. I think it's pretty famously everybody's least favorite Sarah J Maas series, after obviously Throne of Glass and A Court of Thorns and Roses. I still really enjoyed these books. I don't know what that says about me, because everyone says these are awful. I really enjoyed them. I think once you're on the high, if you get the Sarah J Maas high, like if you experience it, I think sometimes people are like, oh, I've read the first book and the second book of ACOTAR and like I'm still not really feeling it, should I push through? Like probably not, because I read the first one, loved it, read the second one, died, and then just like that was it. I just sank and became absolutely turned into a demon, became absolutely feral for that was it. I was then off to the races. As soon as I hit Mist and Fury, I then blitzed through them and then I think I read every single ACOTAR book in a week, and then I read every single Throne of Glass book in a month. I just blitzed the whole lot in a month, and then I started these straight away, was literally gagged at the ending of every single, well, not the third one, but I was gagged at the end of the first two books from here. The world building does take you a minute to get into for these, because you've kind of come from kind of old-timey Fae where there's swords and you're making a fire in the woods to prep your food, and then all of a sudden you're here and there's like phones and offices and clubs and like pounding shots in nightclubs and college and like frat parties, but it's still Fae and like it's still magic, and you have so many more creatures in here. Like you've got mermaids, you've got angels, you've got everything. Anyway, I'm gonna stop talking about it, but just wanted to show you that I finally completed my collection, and I really think this front cover is so beautiful. A world in darkness, a burning spark, a blaze of stars. What I'll say is that Rune Dannon, that man, one of my top book boyfriends, Rune Dannon, without a shadow of a doubt. And I haven't read these in so long. Anyway, finish those. Okay, right, enough reminiscing over my favorite reading experience ever. Let's talk about June. So I read 8 books in the month of June. Finally, we're back up to be honest, like my monthly average last year. It's just been such a slow start. First 6 months of this year. Oh, it's been slow. Anyway, we read 8 books, we're back. So let me talk you through them all. This is seriously in no particular order because I cannot remember what books I read when. So we're just gonna start with the ones that I have physical copies of. And to be honest, most of these, you'll know about these because I talked to you about them very recently. But I read a number of books whilst I was away in June. I'm gonna speed through these, but you'll just have the best time. If you want something funny, with great chemistry, it'll just make you feel good. The perfect beachside, poolside read. 2 people that hate each other end up having to go on a honeymoon together because they take somebody's honeymoon package that they can no longer go on. They go on a honeymoon together, they hate each other, they have to share a suite. Forced proximity. A lot of really funny banter where they're 2 people that just like can't stand each other having to coexist. And obviously one thing leads to another. I had to wait a lot of time. I think I'm gonna finish my final rating on this as 4.25. Yeah, 4.25. I could give it 4.5, but I think 4.25 is gonna be my final rating for the Unhoneymooners. Next up, You and Me on Vacation. I still don't know what to rate this. Oh, I think 4.5 is gonna be my final rating. You and Me on Vacation. 2 best friends that go on holiday together every single year, and they have done for the past 10 years. And it basically you flip between each of the holidays they've taken together over the 10 years to kind of build the picture of their story. And a couple of years ago, they're on one of their most recent vacations, something went terribly wrong, they're no longer friends anymore, but then they go on this final trip together to basically see if they can fix everything because they were best friends for a decade. Something went wrong, no longer friends, and they have one final summer to try and fix it. And the idea is that like 2 best friends, 10 vacations, and then like 1 last summer to fall in love, or whatever it says. Yeah, 2 best friends, 10 summer trips, their last chance to fall in love. I loved it, and we are getting the Netflix adaptation. I don't know if it's a movie or a series. I'd assume it's a movie, but we are getting the Netflix adaptation in January. I don't know why we're not getting it in the summer months. Like, it's a summer book, but we're getting it in Jan, and I'm so excited. I think if I reread this, it could get bumped up to a 5-star, But for now, 4.5. It didn't make me cry or anything, so I don't know why that counts in the 5-star category, but I just feel like it does, so 4.5. Tia Williams, 7 Days in June. This was so heartfelt. I love reading about Black love. I feel like there is not enough celebration of Black love in literature, or maybe I just haven't found enough of it. And I think last Black History Month, I wanted to make more of an effort to read more diverse writing, and this is such a beautiful story. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I have never read any book where two people had more chemistry than this. Like this, their connection was literally electric. This could be some people's like 6-star books. Again, I think this is another one that if I reread it, it would be a 5-star. It's not a 5-star for me at the moment. I think every time I wasn't reading about the two of them, I was just irritated. I was like, these two have to end up together. The stakes feel so high. Their lives have been so tough. Like, I just wanted to focus on the couple. And to me, that was a little bit of a nod to the writing of sometimes it would just take me out of the story a little bit too much when we started a new chapter from from one of the side characters' points of view. And I think maybe those transitions could have been a bit gentler, or I don't know, but some of the transitions between chapters felt a little bit jarring to me. But oh my gosh, do you need to read this book? Like, it was so fantastic, and I think I'm gonna give this book 4 stars, or 4.25. Oh, I'm so bad at this. Maybe 4.2 stars. It gets the extra 2.5 just for how good the chemistry is. Okay, the next book I am actually reading, or I finished it as part of a reading vlog, which you should be getting soon, hopefully next week. I'm in the middle of the final book for that reading vlog, so I don't want to spoil all of my thoughts, but I also can't give you a June reading wrap up without telling you all the books I read in June, because that would be ridiculous. So I'm not going to give too much away about The X-Files by Jessica Joyce. What I will say is if you liked Happy Place, you'll like this, and I definitely recommend it. And all of my other thoughts, you'll have to wait for that reading vlog. But I definitely recommend it, and if you liked Happy Place, add this to your TBR. Okay, then things took a bit of a nosedive. The other book, last month, in June, I read Planet Barbarians by, who is it by? Ruby Dixon. I read Planet Barbarian, and I'm confident it's the worst book I've ever read. I'm hoping it's the worst book I'll ever read. It is alien smut. It is a girl that gets abducted by kind of like goblin kind of aliens, and as part of kind of like a sex trafficking thing. Like, it's a bit haunting at the start. Like, all these girls are getting piled onto the spaceship, they're being taken away, and then something must go wrong with the goblin green aliens, because, and we don't really know, like, you don't get, there's no world building, like, you don't find out any of the reasons why things happen, but basically the spaceship, or like the shuttle thing that these sex trafficked girls are on, gets dumped on the ice planet, which is not the green goblins. This is where like these hunky blue aliens live, and they're all like rippling abs, kind of look like men, but they also have tails and they have horns. And anyway, the girls have to learn to survive on this ice planet, or they get dumped there, they've got no food, they've got no water, so they go out wandering. And basically, it's alien smut. I mean, there are so many books that people accuse of being smut that I'm like, that's not smut, that's just a romance book that has some spice in it. But it's not smut, because so much of the book has nothing to do with like sexual chemistry or sex in general. This is smut. This is like pure alien smut, and I don't know what to tell you. There were parts there were times in this book, there were there were 2 paragraphs in this book. Honestly, I shit you not, there were 2 paragraphs in this book where the tense changed, where the writing literally changed tense. Like, it was in the first person for the whole book, and all of a sudden it was in the third person for 2 chapters. It's like the edit, like, it just never got edited, and maybe at one point the entire book was in the third person, and then they switched it to the first person and just like missed a couple of chapters. I don't know, but like, that's how faulty this book was. Gave it 2 stars. Wouldn't be fair to give it a lick more than that. However, I don't know what it says about me, but I immediately wanted to read the second one. So this is probably one of my most embarrassing moments. Like, there's nothing I can do about it. This was another Heather McGlarry recommendation. If you want unhinged recommendations that are good, like, go watch Heather. Anyway, the first one, I guess the smut was like smutting. Like, I did like feel it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is like quite something. And then I started reading the second one, which is called Barbarian Alien. I think there's like 15 books. So if you want to enter this universe and you like it, you are set. There are so many books. The audiobook, I listened to the audiobook of the first one and it's on Audible for free. I also don't know what that means, that like I didn't know you could get any books on Audible for free, but it's free on Audible. They're obviously on Kindle Unlimited, so you don't have to pay for these books anywhere. But 15 books, read the first one, 2 stars, started the second one, which is basically about a different girl in the group. So I imagine that it's like 15 books worth of, book 1's about one of the girls, book 2 is about another one of the girls, and then I guess maybe all the rest of the books about all the other girls. I don't know why I'm talking about this book for so long. I guess because it's like the most intriguing. Lights Out, previous to this, was the most out there book I've ever read. This is worse. So I don't know what to tell you. If you're curious, go for it, DM me, let's chat. I don't know what more to say. The second book, I couldn't do it. The novelty wore off. I tried. I don't know how far through I got. I've got it on my Kindle here. 47% of the way through. So I did make it a decent way and then I just gave up. I mean, the writing is so bad. But I didn't know aliens might have existed, so curiosity got the best of me and curiosity just like fully killed the cat on this one. Anyway, so I read both of those-ish, DNF'd one, read the other one. I also read Flawless by Lauren Roberts. I've also shared my thoughts on this already, so super quickly, also gave this 2-star. To me, it was just a repeat of Powerless. I think if you really want to complete the trilogy, or if you loved Powerless and you kind of just want like fan fiction of book 1 and you just want to read more of the same, then I think you'll quite enjoy Fearless, because it is just more of the same and you can either see that as a good thing or a bad thing. I gave it 2-star because I started to find the same dialogue very tiresome, and the fact that the plot is exactly the same. Like, it's trials again for Payden. Like, it's the same, to me it's the same plot. Kai, all of Kai's like down bad vocabulary is all exactly the same. I started to find the writing just overly dramatic and it just didn't hit for me. Like, I just didn't think Fearless was an especially good book, unfortunately. So 2 stars, but I did genuinely enjoy moments from the other books in the series. As always, these are just my opinions, but Fearless also wasn't for me. So 2 2-star books and what I would consider Planet Barbarians or whatever, like probably a 1-star book, which I don't know if I've had any of those yet. And then I think we're on to our final book now. We've got X-Vows, Unhoneymooners, You and Me on Vacation, 7 Days in June, Fearless, the 2 Planet Barbarians books. Yes, and then the final book that I read is Gloves Off by Stephanie Archer. I haven't actually read any of these books. I've listened to the audiobook of all of them and I really recommend them. All of the audiobooks are done duet, which is just the top tier and I think like the gold standard and hopefully the blueprint. Like, I just want all audiobooks to be duet, but I know it's the most expensive way to produce an audiobook, which is why a lot of authors don't choose to do it. But duet is just, it's what we all want. Anyway, I really enjoyed Gloves Off. I think I'm gonna give it 3.75. It could even deserve a 4-star, you know, but I think with the Stephanie Archer books, like I just forget all of them so quickly. I mean, I think I only read that book 2 books ago and I've already kind of forgotten a lot of it. But I had such a good time while I was listening to it, like genuinely had such a good time. My favourite of all of them so far, I can't tell whether, I think maybe the Stephanie Archer world is just infiltrating my brain, because when I first, like Behind the Net, I just thought was actively bad. And then slowly these books, like Gloves Off came out and I was like, oh yeah, definitely want to listen to that. This series is becoming like an auto-buy series. And I don't know how that's happened. I feel like the reading taste of this channel, or like my reading taste, is like very highbrow, lowbrow. We're very multi-dimensional. Anyway, I can genuinely recommend Gloves Off by Stephanie Archer. Again, ice hockey romance, fun, flirty, spicy. The found family is getting better and better with every book, which is often the case. If you liked any of the other books in the Vancouver Storm series, you'll definitely like this one. Marriage of convenience is the main trope. Sports romance, who doesn't love them? And I think that's the final book that I read in June. So that is my June reading wrap up, and that is officially the wrap up of this month's monthly reset. As always, I've had such a nice time. Let me know what videos you want to see from me next. I really want to do a mid-year book tag. I find those so helpful to watch because then you get a really good summary of booktubers, like exactly what books they'd recommend and an overview of how things are going so far in the year. So I'll probably do a mid-year book tag soon, but let me know if there's any particular videos you want to see from me. Otherwise, reading vlog is coming to you very, very soon. I'm excited about that one. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you're in the middle of such a lovely book and I cannot wait to see you in the next one. Bye guys.